Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
Our pleasure to welcome to the program now the Mayor of the Kapiti Coast District Council, Gurunathan. Guru, good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, John. Good morning, listeners.
Lovely to talk to you, Guru. Now, we had a chat on the radio about what I think is an excellent initiative that I believe the council's involved in. This is the Sports Bank. And this, I think, is a great opportunity to involve people and all people, really, to get involved in a bit of activity with all of the health and social benefits that provides and getting over some of the economic disadvantages.
Yeah, I think it's a really fantastic idea with the City Mission. And it's really fantastic to see City Mission, which normally concentrated on Wellington City. They're opening up a whole lot of this hub. They're opening up 7 more. They've already opened 5, including ours, on Saturday. What it is, we've all been parents, our children going to sports, you got to pay the subs and the fees. There's the transport cost, and then there's the equipment cost. What this one does is it takes the equipment cost or lowers it substantially, because what they've done is they've collected a whole lot of equipment on a wide range of sporting codes. They can then either give it away free, or people can bring and exchange it. And therefore it helps people lower the cost of enabling their children to enjoy sports.
And a great thing too. As you say, it launched recently, and as I understand it, a lot of this is dependent on donations of equipment from people, from organisations. Of course, kids grow up, don't they? They grow out of equipment.
That's right.
So I imagine there's individual donations involved there.
Individually, and also you have the sporting organisation.
Yeah.
In the councils, you have the recreation centres, the swimming pools, where people leave stuff behind.
Oh, of course, yes. Indeed.
And so, that's not collected. And then also the police. And it's interesting, I asked police what they've donated. They've also donated a whole lot of bicycles.
Oh, really? That have not been claimed.
That's right.
Indeed.
For the transport line.
Excellent. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. A major initiative over the weekend, of course, was the Takutai Kapiti Climate Change in Our Coast Summit. How did that go?
That went really well. It was in 2 separate sections. The morning section consisted of a number of speakers, like Professor James Renwick and Professor Bruce Glagovic. Somebody from the insurance industry, John Lucas, and of course our own, the Right Honourable Jim Bolger was there, and a significant contribution by Kaupapa Maori researchers Dr. Aroha Singh and Mahina Arangi Baker. The conversation was really, really good, and I think we should do more of this.
Excellent.
There was also hecklers in they didn't believe in climate change. So they were heckling there. But I think it was handled really well. But that's part of the mix, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And they do have a right to the voice, but
yes.
It's how you present it. Jim Bolger was really very good. He had, even though they were not entitled to ask questions on the floor, he actually stopped everything and asked them to make questions so they could be answered by the panel. So
yes.
That was really good. The afternoon session was consisting of more community interface. You had a bit of music, some food stalls, and also different tents. We had Energized Otaki speaking, the Youth Council, the Regional Council was down there, and then we had a tent where we could continue the panel answering questions. And so that was also very good.
And from here on in, I had Sophie Hempert on the radio, I think it was on Friday, then we had a chat about this. I think the intention is to set up panels of interested people to further the work and to maybe put a little bit of meat on the bones that may have been established over the weekend.
Because you must understand that in 2012, when we had the district plan and we imposed the coastal hazard line on about 1,800 properties along the coast, and you had the pushback and went to the court. There were 2 court processes, and two groups, the Otaki North group, and then there's the Coastal Ratepayers Union group, and they were. So we have a court-directed interface with these groups to fix up some of the problems. So we know that the district plan, Chapter 4, dealing with coastal policy areas, they were completely taken out. And so these panels that have been set up are community-led. And so these two groups will be part of it, and other people will be part of it, experts will be part of it. And then the hard work starts on negotiating the core policies and rules and regulations along the coast.
So you're saying that organisations such as Coastal Ratepayers United will be part of that process.
Absolutely.
Of formulating recommendations for policy. Now, the big question I think many people listening will be asking themselves is, yes, but will the council listen? Because I think that's been the issue over the years.
Yeah, but precisely that's the point of putting up these panels to come to some understanding. Of course, I mean, there are also issues because that's only part of the jigsaw. Because if whatever you can do on the beachfront in terms of private property right and your right to protect your private property, it's got to interface with the rules and regulations. You've got your insurance companies, what their requirements are, what the banks will say in terms of your mortgage. These are serious issues, and also what type of rating system do we need to explore to support this, perhaps to protect private property, to protect council property. We need to bring this to some kind of understanding.
Yes.
And changes in the district plan, because the district plan is actually is limping, because if that's the word that I can use, because there's
it's a kind word, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It makes it inefficient to have a big hole in that particular area.
Indeed. So I think it's a major initiative, and congratulations on getting that going, and we certainly will be keeping an eye on that. It was just very unfortunate that we had a report that while that conference was on, that seagulls, hundreds of seagulls, were dying en masse just to the north of the venue. The timing for that couldn't be much worse, could it?
Yeah, well, we don't know what caused it. I know sporadically we've had seagulls die even around the Kapiti coast. I'd be interested to find out, they must be eating something,
It sounds like it, doesn't it? Yes, I think they're talking about some pest control agent, or that's the speculation currently. Tests are underway, as I understand, so we'll know more about that. Mr. Mayor, last time we had a slight divergence of opinion about COVID-19, and I received a notice here from the Horowhenua New Zealand Trust, which has been sponsored by the Horowhenua District Council. They're setting up a workshop this coming Thursday, and they are looking to support local businesses, organisations and leaders as they consider a possible range of impacts to build individual and collective readiness for what might unfold. It's important to stress that at this time it's not about either over or underestimating the impact of the virus might or might not have, but rather to help people prepare for whatever eventuates.
Well,
is there any thought about having something like that on the Kapiti coast?
Well, I think the government is already signaling, the Minister of Finance already signaled the impact on businesses is coming. The storm will come. And I understand it's already being felt by some of the local businesses. I think Tuesday, when we are looking at our rating systems and how much, this is going to be the beginning of that discussion.
Oh, and do you think that COVID-19 may feature in those discussions?
Well, I think it should, because we must be prepared for what we don't know can happen.
Indeed, indeed. I mean, that is what a plan is about, isn't it? Surely that you have to plan for contingencies, particularly one that has been so well signalled as this one.
Well, we don't know what the local impact is going to be.
Yes, but contingencies. Contingencies.
Yeah. So how do you plan for this? What can council do?
Well, I see Council at least has got a link up on its website, COVID-19, and the link is to the Ministry of Health. And so therefore it's sort of, it's shoving on the request, isn't it?
Two issues here. One is the health issues, which is managed by the Ministry of Health and the National Emergency Authority. They do that, and we take direct orders from them. The other aspect is, of course, is what economic impact they're going to have on our communities, and how we can be, how council can sort of help in that area to lower any cost that is given them. I mean, the last thing we want to do is impose costs on them for nice to have when through our rating system when they are struggling.
Well,
but we don't know what the impact is going to be. So,
No, we don't.
Yes, so we need to have some headway so that we are flexible.
Is it possible to establish within the, as you refer to it, the wish list, to have a hierarchy of priorities that, the worse things get, the more the less important ones drop off the list?
Well, put it this way, we've got a couple of months in our hands in terms of what areas should be priority, and I think we need to put this to the public and then have the interface with the public, because what councillors see as a priority may not be what the priorities of the public, and at the same time, given this unknown factor, how will that affect us? So at least if we don't take very stringent positions, allow the public interface to happen. And so when we land it in a couple of months' time through the public consultation process, we are better placed to respond to whatever's shaping up economically from this virus.
So do you think it's possible that the annual plan process might be extended as a result of extra discussions involved with the possible impact of the coronavirus?
Well, worst case, when I say we need to be flexible, let's see.
Let's see. Fair enough. We all wait and we're going to see. We've got a certain amount of bated breath going on at the moment. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Mayor,
welcome.
and we look forward to doing it next time. Thank you. There we are. Mayor K.Gurunathan here on Beach FM.
106.3 Beach FM.